showtime. Oh, baby! It's the bad guys! Watch this.
The Bad Guys 2 is shaping up to be one of the most anticipated animated sequels in recent years, riding on the unexpected and explosive success of the first film. When DreamWorks first brought this ensemble of lovable criminals to life, audiences around the world were captivated by the slick animation, charismatic voice cast, and the blend of heist movie excitement with heartfelt storytelling. The original film struck a perfect balance between humor and emotion, and now, with the sequel in development, fans are eager to see how the story evolves, how the characters mature, and what new adventures await the now reformed gang. This follow-up isn't just a cash grab. It's a continuation of a story that felt both complete yet open-ended, full of opportunities to expand its vibrant world. The sequel picks up after the events of the first movie, where Mr. Wolf, Mr. Snake, Mr. Shark, Mr. Piranha, and Ms. Tarantula, formerly notorious criminals, have chosen the path of good. But the journey from bad to good is never linear, especially in a world that still sees them as villains. The group faces a new dilemma in this installment, one that tests their loyalty, their new identities, and their commitment to change. The dynamic between the core group is now more complex. They're not just partners in crime anymore. They're friends navigating the challenges of rehabilitation and public perception. Society still doesn't quite know what to make of them. Are they truly changed, or is this just an elaborate con? This tension drives the sequel's emotional arc, offering audiences deeper character development. Mr. Wolf, the suave and strategic leader, now finds himself caught between nostalgia for the old days and a genuine desire to be better. His struggle to remain on the right side of the law while dealing with the temptation of a high-stakes situation becomes a central focus. Mr. Snake, whose trust issues and cynicism were already hinted at in the first film, now grapples with the difficulty of forgiveness and trust, not just with the team, but within himself. Adding to the intrigue is the introduction of a new antagonist who poses a very different kind of threat. Unlike the flamboyant Professor Marmalade from the first film, this new villain operates in the shadows using manipulation, deception, and psychological warfare. This antagonist doesn't want to steal jewels or rob banks. They want to tear apart the bad guys from the inside, questioning their identities, planting seeds of doubt, and exploiting their fears. It's a cerebral, more mature conflict that challenges the team in ways they've never experienced before. As the story unfolds, the bad guys are forced into a new mission, not to pull off a heist, but to prevent one. This twist flips the formula on its head. They must stop a criminal plot that could destroy the city, but in doing so, they must work with people who still see them as the enemy. The theme of redemption is threaded through every scene, with each character given moments to shine, stumble, and grow. The animation in the sequel pushes boundaries even further. DreamWorks has embraced a stylized, comic book-inspired aesthetic that gave the original film such a unique visual flair. In The Bad Guys 2, that style is dialed up, with more expressive character designs, kinetic action sequences, and richer backgrounds that reflect the emotional tone of the story. The city feels more alive, more detailed, and more complex, mirroring the characters' internal journeys. The action scenes, always a highlight in the first movie, now benefit from even more creative choreography and visual inventiveness. Chase sequences, stealth missions, and explosive confrontations are elevated with a blend of humor and tension, capturing the spirit of classic heist films while keeping it fresh for a younger audience. Musically, the film continues its tradition of blending funky, high-energy tracks with cinematic orchestration. The soundtrack plays a critical role in setting the tone, shifting from upbeat and jazzy to tense and introspective, depending on the scene. The returning voice cast brings even more depth to their characters, clearly having grown into their roles. Their chemistry is palpable, making the interactions feel natural and emotionally resonant. In particular, the relationship between Mr. Wolf and Mr. Snake is explored in greater depth, revealing layers of history and unspoken emotion that enrich their friendship. Ms. Tarantula gets more spotlight this time around, with a subplot that emphasizes her intellect, independence, and moral compass. Her journey becomes a symbol of empowerment, showing how intelligence and compassion can coexist in a world that often values power and bravado. There's also a fresh subplot involving a young fan of the bad guys who idolizes them for the wrong reasons, seeing their criminal past as cool and rebellious. This character acts as a mirror to the group's own struggle with legacy and influence. It forces them to confront what kind of role models they truly want to be. The dynamic between the main crew and this young admirer leads to both comedic and touching moments, grounding the story with a sense of responsibility and consequence. Comedy remains a core element of the sequel, but it's more refined, relying less on slapstick and more on character-driven humor. The jokes land because they're rooted in who these characters are and how they interact. There's still plenty of physical comedy, particularly from Mr. Shark and Mr. Piranha, whose antics continue to provide some of the film's funniest scenes. But there's also a stronger emphasis on witty dialogue and situational humor, which adds layers to the comedic beats. The Bad Guys 2 doesn't shy away from exploring darker themes either. Identity, trust, and fear of relapse are treated with a level of nuance that makes the film resonate beyond its intended audience. Children will enjoy the fast-paced action and colorful animation, but adults will appreciate the emotional depth and moral complexity. The film doesn't offer easy answers. It understands that change is messy, that redemption is ongoing, and that the past doesn't simply disappear. These themes are handled with a light touch, never overwhelming the story, but always present, grounding the fantastical elements in relatable human experiences. The pacing of the sequel is also tighter and more focused. Every scene feels purposeful, building toward a climax that is both thrilling and emotionally satisfying. The final act delivers high-stakes action, unexpected twists, and moments of genuine catharsis. It brings the characters full circle while leaving just enough room for further adventures. One of the standout elements of The Bad Guys 2 is how it handles the world around its protagonists. The supporting cast is more fleshed out, including law enforcement characters who are no longer simple foils, but have their own arcs, motivations, and even alliances with the team. This adds complexity to the narrative, blurring the lines between good and bad in ways that feel fresh and engaging. There's also a stronger focus on community. As the bad guys attempt to integrate into society, they must navigate public opinion, media scrutiny, and their own insecurities. It's a clever way of externalizing the internal struggles of the characters, showing how societal labels can be just as hard to escape as one's own doubts. The animation team uses visual motifs, like shifting shadows, shattered glass, and color transitions, to represent these inner conflicts, adding a layer of storytelling that works on a subconscious level. As the sequel unfolds, flashbacks are used to provide insight into the characters' pasts, revealing moments that shaped who they are today. These glimpses into their backstories aren't just filler. They serve to deepen the audience's connection to the characters, providing context for their choices and fears. Mr. Wolf's past as a loner, Mr. Snake's early betrayals, Ms. Tarantula's tech-savvy youth, all of these pieces come together to create a fuller picture. These moments are handled with care and respect, never slowing down the plot but rather enhancing it. The humor remains sharp and accessible, with plenty of clever callbacks to the first film, but always with the intention of moving the story forward. The result is a sequel that feels earned, not forced, a natural extension of the first film that takes everything to the next level. In terms of visual storytelling, The Bad Guys 2 showcases DreamWorks at the top of its game. Every frame is bursting with detail, from the textures on the characters' fur and scales to the intricate designs of the cityscape. Lighting plays a crucial role, especially in scenes where the mood shifts dramatically. Whether it's a quiet conversation under a flickering streetlight or a chaotic chase through neon-lit alleys, the cinematography enhances the emotional stakes. There's a boldness to the animation style that sets this film apart, using exaggerated angles, split screens, and stylized transitions to keep the audience engaged. This visual dynamism reflects the energy of the story and the personalities of the characters, making it not just a movie to watch, but an experience to feel. While the sequel pays homage to its roots, it also takes risks. It introduces philosophical questions about morality, legacy, and free will, encouraging viewers to think critically about what it means to be good. It's a story about choosing who you want to be, even when the world won't let you forget who you were. The film challenges its characters and its audience to look beyond appearances, to question assumptions, and to embrace growth, no matter how messy it gets. These messages are woven into the story with subtlety and sincerity, making the bad guys more than just an animated caper. It's a meditation on identity and transformation.